And of course, the intro isn't playing, so that's awesome.
Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another exciting installment of the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast. I'm your boy, the franchise player, Double B Bad Blood, joined by the host with the most, Tony DeBurns, and from Squared Circle Podcast, right below us, Marie Shadows. Marie, thank you for joining us today.
Of course, I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
So this is what we're going to do. Normally, we come on with this really cool intro, so I'm going to see if we can get that intro going. Let's try this right here.
All right.
And it looks like it works for me, ladies and gentlemen. So,
trying to no-sell me, damn it.
It is no selling you, brother. It's yeah, don't sell it. Don't sell it. Welcome once again to the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight is our very first installment live on the bodyslam.network. Oh my God, we are fucking part of the big time.
Welcome to everybody who's joining us for the first time tonight from bodyslam.net. It's definitely a pleasure to have you. I know you guys are watching from the bodyslam.net Facebook group.
Well, let me tell you,
and of course, we got the usual suspects joining us here tonight as well.
We are streaming on 9 different Facebook, 9 different YouTube channels, Twitch. It's crazy, ladies and gentlemen. We are here tonight to talk about the wild and craziness that is happening in the world of professional wrestling this week. I mean, I wanted to get on here and talk about AEW Dynamite, but that's not what you guys are here for. You guys can go watch it on TNT tonight.
Yeah, we'll cover that next week. Yeah,
we'll cover that. You know, maybe me and Julian will cover that tomorrow night. Who knows? But tonight is dedicated to the most heinous act in professional wrestling today. That's the way I see it. I don't know about you. I don't know about you too, but that's the way I see it.
It's up there.
The most heinous act. And I will say this right now, ladies and gentlemen, as a wrestler who's been in this business 29.5 years, I'm disgusted by some of the things that I've seen, some of the things that I read, and some of the friggin' comments that some of today's legends have made. And we are talking about the dark side of the ring, the infamous flight from hell. Tony, Marie, I don't know about you guys, but I have a 13-year-old daughter who grew up around wrestling. I know many people in this business that idolize guys like Ric Flair, guys like Tommy Dreamer, guys like RVD.
Yeah.
And to see the shit that they got away with.
Oh God.
Totally. I mean, all this week, me and Chemical Julian tried to do a podcast on Monday. We were doing a Monday Night Raw review, which actually was really good for the first time in a very long time. We were doing a Raw review, and it just I felt really sick to my stomach. Really sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
You know, it's been a pretty horrible week. Today's my mom's birthday. She passed away 14 months ago, as you guys all know.
Yep.
So it's been really an emotional week for me. And just, I last night sat down and rewatched for the 3rd time the Dark Side of the Ring Flight from Hell episode. And
I couldn't even get. I barely got through it the first time. I did not want to revisit that.
Well, I mean, I wanted to make sure that my notes were right, but then Flair went on Twitter.
Yeah.
Like, here's my thing. You know you fucked up. You know you fucked up. You know you fucked up. So you're gonna go on Twitter and further stick your foot down your throat. And some of the people on this, some of the people on Twitter is very fucking toxic. I'm just gonna say that right now.
Extremely. Twitter's a horrible fucking place.
When people get raped, and I'm saying people because men get raped too. When people get raped, it's normally not appropriate to blame the rapee.
Right. It's called victim blaming, and it's never acceptable under any circumstance.
And it's just, I don't know, man. Marie, what do you think about this? As the lone female on this podcast tonight, what do you think about this?
Well, I'm going to start it off with that I'm a different type of female. I tend to think a little bit more logically, and I will not be seen or left with like a guy I don't really know. Like I won't be alone by myself. Just because, I'm in and around the business. So, I always know to always stay by people that I trust and that like are family to me, but I won't be like by myself with some person I don't know. I saw the whole entire episode. I really do feel bad for Heidi. Like she didn't need that. She didn't need that experience. And I also think that the company that she worked for the airlines should have at least had male stewardess on that flight to kind of calm everything down and to also let the ladies know that these are wrestlers. Because back in the day, like wrestlers did whatever they wanted. And it's not like you go on an airplane for like soccer players or NBA players. Like I would think that they're like a little bit more tame than wrestlers. Wrestlers have a chip on their shoulder because they get that fame and status. I was reading Ric Flair's comments and I was confused because I didn't understand it. I was like, where are we going with this? What are we doing? Why? Yeah, it really came off like he was drunk, even though he probably wasn't. But like to refer to the 30 for 30 episode, like, no, just, okay, it happened so long ago. I get it. But you can like now apologize to her and, be like, he probably should apologize earlier. Like when in the show they had they were talking about the whole lawsuit and whatnot, right? Mm-hmm. So sometimes like if you don't have enough funds to go after somebody, you might have to take the settlement. What I would have done was that I need a specific apology from each of those guys to let them know that it's wrong to do that and to really put her in that position. Because, I've said it before on other podcasts as well, that why is it the first thing that you think of is to get naked just to tell a joke? I get it. But like, why is that the first thing that pops into your mind after people almost like died before that incident? And you just want to be like, oh, look at my, my penis or whatever. Right. Like, why? Like, Ric Flair should have like at least told a joke, or somebody should have told a joke or whatever. I just think that it was, it's something that we can all learn from, and learn that we're in a better place when it comes to wrestling and like pranks and like stuff like that. Even though we still got a long way to go, but at least we could teach the other generations and even people outside the wrestling business that like stuff like that shouldn't be okay. And to victim blame is obviously not to be okay either, because that's just like, you need to listen to them, just listen to their side and just understand that they were traumatized because they're not used to this. But then again, no one should be used to any of that shit anyway. But, it's 50-50 for this episode.
Yeah, and truthfully, everybody involved probably should have just shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Should have just said fucking nothing. After the first of, countless incidents, from the hair cutting to the H-bombing and whatever the fuck you want to call it, to just shut the fuck up. Get in your seat. Don't say anything, for fuck's sake.
But remember what the almighty Undertaker had to say. This is back when men were men. Not like this new era where guys are backstage playing video games on Twitch and shit. So you're telling me that me, as a 30-year veteran of this fucking industry, that I've pretty much gone and done everything and I've been everywhere, I've never dropped an H-bomb in some girl's drink. I've never whipped my penis out with a rope, and made a girl grab it. I've never done any of that stuff. So does that mean I'm not a real man because I didn't rape anybody?
Apparently.
Because I didn't drug a girl, rape her, and leave her laying naked in the hallway of a hotel?
Uh-huh.
So does that make me not a man?
I guess not.
You know? So Undertaker can kiss my ass. I said it, ladies and gentlemen, right here on the podcast. Undertaker can kiss my black ass.
Yeah, in regards to The Undertaker, I'm sure we're going to be discussing him a lot more when the Chris Canyon episode is over with later on today, because there was some shit there with those two and really a lot of other people in the company with Canyon. Oh, God.
Who better than Canyon?
Yeah.
Nobody. Who better than Canyon? With that being said, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. And we're going to add. Now, what I'm going to do is this. We have 3 individuals that are involved in professional wrestling. A person that handles a podcast that used to work for the WWE at one time. Tony Burns was a senior producer of BCW Worldwide. Myself, a veteran of this industry for 29 years. We're going to add from Canada, Miss Sassy Pants herself, Cheryl, as a fan, looking at it from the outside. And then we're going to add the current BCW Worldwide No Limits Hardcore Champion, the chosen one, wonderful Zach Winters, who is very outspoken in himself about this whole situation. So when we come back from commercial break, that's what we're going to do. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be right back with more of the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast.
Drive me insane! All these rules are lame, have been taking all the fun out! Drive me insane! All these rules are lame, have been taking all the fun out! Drive me insane! All these rules...
When you want to get your hair cut, you go get your hair cut right. You head down to Big D's Barbershop. Big D's Barbershop, Vancouver, Washington's best and brightest. 1019 Main Street, Vancouver, Washington, where you can go get your hair lined up, cuts, fades, shampoos, conditions, and all the great things that go with supporting a local barbershop in a local business area. You can also reach them online at www.bigdsbarbershop.com. Go get your haircut right.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Great futures do start at the Boys and Girls Club, unless you got Ric Flair around there, ladies and gentlemen. And we are back. That's right, we are back with Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast. Seen tonight live for the first time, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time on the exclusive network of the spoiler, so to speak. The man who broke all the news with CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, and all the cool shit with bodyslam.net. I would like to say thank you to Cassidy Haynes for allowing us to be part of the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast venture into bodyslam.net. Ladies and gentlemen, go check it out, www.bodyslam.net. Just like DMD, but NET, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we are back, like I said, and we're going to add 2 more people to this craziness of this panel right now to discuss the horrible Fly from Hell. Ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, the sassy one herself from the great White North. Ladies and gentlemen, Cheryl is in the house. Cheryl,
Hey there.
Hello.
Okay.
All right.
How's it going?
We're doing well. We are doing well.
It's cold up
And
here, but
it's cold already, huh? It was like 85 degrees today here.
Something like that.
It was pretty good.
Awesome.
And the BCW Worldwide No Limits Hardcore Champion, the man, the myth, the legend himself, the chosen one, the wonderful one, Zach Winters. Zach, welcome, my man.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
All right.
It's been a while.
So
It
Zach,
has been.
It has been a while, my man. Let the fans know what your podcast is all about and where they can find you.
Oh man, you're gonna find. I'm probably gonna regurgitate a lot of the same thoughts that I've had about this show because we do a weekly Dark Side of the Ring review also.
Yeah.
But you could find me every Friday along with Darkness and Big Vicious on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio. Anything you could find a podcast on, look for the Dark Asylum podcast because you will find us there, and I guarantee you'll have a good time.
You will indeed. 100% agreed. I've listened early. I've listened often. I'm still waiting for my invite to get on the show, as a matter of fact.
Hold on. No. Because we've said this when Caleb was on there. A lot of people think that it's really hard and complicated to get on our show. Like Billy Mood and Caleb had been on there and they just asked.
Oh, okay. Well, I did talk to Big V when we were at the Lindsey Sterling concert, so hopefully he passed the message along.
Oh, man. No, he didn't, but that's because he only thinks of himself.
Damn it.
We'll get you on. We'll talk about it off air.
Okay,
let's do
cool.
that.
Granted,
also-
hold on. If anybody does ask, though, it has to go in with along the lines if I like you or not.
That's true.
So
That's
not
true.
everybody's going to get on there.
It's
You might have-
faction rules.
Yep.
Also, before we go any further, I'd like to mention that former WWE legend, superstar Billy Graham, in the hospital. Another apparent issues with his heart.
Yep.
He's had
Really?
several- yeah. Billy Graham's in the hospital right now. And I'm pretty sure Dark Side of the Ring will do something with Billy Graham. Due to heart
Would
failure.
not
once
be
again.
surprised. Yeah. Billy Graham would be an interesting subject to cover on Dark Side of the Ring,
yeah.
given his prominence, in the old WWF, and even over in Crockett, he had a cup of coffee over there as well.
Well,
Anybody else want that
Dude,
sick
that's
ass
right.
poster though?
and with the AWA also. Superstar Billy Graham is currently hospitalized due to a number of health conditions, including heart failure with fluid in his lungs. Graham wrote via his Facebook page on September 19th. Hi fans, there is no wrestling post tonight. Just a statement from me. I'm currently having heart problems, which is the title of this message. I'm currently having heart problems. I'm getting ready to go to the Mayo Clinic to get checked out. I'm not feeling well and the hospital admits me, which I'm sure they will do for future testing tomorrow. We'll have Mike, my Facebook administrator, give you guys an update. So, today's latest update, superstar Billy Graham will post a personal update tomorrow. So he'll be posting one tomorrow. But according to him, Graham is 78 years old. He's had several different heart issues over the last couple of years. He literally had a heart attack in 2019. He's had consistent heart failure. Damn. That's crazy. But like you said, from 1969 to 1989, he's wrestled in the WWF, the WWE, or the WWF at the time, the NWA, and the AWA. So he's pretty much hit all three of the major organizations in that like 20-year, 40-year time span or whatever, whatnot.
Yep.
So, going back to the horrible incidents of the Dark Side of the Ring,
Guess we
It's
find a
just-
place to
oh,
start.
man.
Yeah.
Oh man.
well,
Where do you
well,
start?
Tony. Yeah, where do you start? I mean, Marie, where would you start?
It's very difficult to pick one because there's been so many incidents that the whole entire documentary was talking about. I mean, we already discussed Flair. Tommy Dreamer just sounded super frustrated and then decided to just say that stuff, comparing his buns to that. But I think Scott Hall popped into my head only because in that incident, so obviously I've never H-bomb anybody or I don't know how that is or whatever, but just the fact that she went over there just to make sure that he was okay and wanted breakfast, and he happened to just pull on her shirt and the buttons came off. At that point, I was way more afraid for her because I'm like, I don't know if anything in Scott Hall's mind or body may like all of a sudden like click, and then he gets like a rush of adrenaline and power, and like that could have ended like really bad for her, and like, you know, kind of progressed her trauma. The fact that, you know, he was like probably like slurring the words of, you know, I want to lick your face. It's like, what the hell are you dreaming about, man? Like, what is this? Like that, like the way they told that, I was like, I felt really, really bad for her. I was like, okay, thankfully she did not like, it didn't go further than like what it was.
Yeah, that could have turned out a lot worse.
And the thing that really bothered me about the whole situation, he was that fucking drunk.
Yeah.
Like, he was that out of it to the point to where they had to put him on a wheelchair and roll him off.
Oh, just incredible story. Getting him onto the wheelchair and getting him out of the, getting him through customs.
Are you sure that it wasn't just alcohol? Because they did say they found needles as well. So
yeah, they did.
Yeah, that's right. They did.
Scott Hall was not in the right frame of mind for anything like that. Because like we all know he had drug problems, pills, shooting up, alcohol. What Ric Flair did, and like a lot of people, they didn't talk about this in the Dark Side of the Ring, but Goldust was just as guilty for sexual harassment crap.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yes.
As Ric Flair. I think I give Scott Hall a little bit more leniency with the whole situation because he was not in his frame of mind. He was not in a right frame of mind. He was so messed up with all the crap that he just piled into his body.
Okay,
plus being an H-bomb on top of it.
I can agree with that. But in the same situation, being drunk, being high, being inebriated in any way, shape, or form is still not an excuse.
Oh no.
It's like remember back a couple years ago in California, there was an older lady who was in her car in Santa Monica, and she fucking mowed down like 13 people on the promenade because she was impaired on medication. Now, granted, she was an older lady, she was impaired on medication, but that don't mean shit. She still should not have been behind the wheel. She still should not have done what she did. So if you think about it, in a sense, you have to like look at the whole picture. Zach, you have a daughter.
Yeah.
Okay. If some guy pulled his penis out and waved it at your daughter, to me, honestly, I don't give a shit if the guy was high on coke, if the guy was high on Molly, he was H-bombed, he was D-bombed, he was F-bombed. I wouldn't give a shit. He's still guilty.
Trust me, the headlines would read very differently.
Yeah, exactly.
It wouldn't be Ric Flair pulled out his penis and made a woman touch
episode, you know.
Yeah,
like that's what I'm saying. So, you know, being the fact that he was really drunk, okay, yeah, he was drunk, cool. He was drunk, high, whatever the hell it was. But at the end of the day, he still would have been responsible for everything he did.
Yeah, and the thing with Scott Hall, he honestly should not have been on that plane. He should not have been on that tour.
Mm-mm.
You could even argue that he shouldn't have even been hired at that time at all. Like, he should not have been in the company, period. He had so many issues, so many demons at that time that he was in no state to be in the professional wrestling business, period. Again, yeah.
You're responsible, drugs or not.
That's right. Yeah.
So going back to so Cheryl, as a fan, as someone outside of the business looking in, what were your thoughts as a fan after watching this show, after watching Dark Side of the Ring? I mean, don't get me wrong, ladies and gentlemen, the two gentlemen that put together that documentary, they dug deep and they didn't even tell you everything.
Oh God,
There
no.
was so much stuff that they left out because it was so horrible.
We will get into that here later on in the show, but yeah,
Good.
you could arguably say they barely scratched the surface.
Oh man.
Because if you knew everything that surrounded it, you'd know Michael Hayes deserved that shit.
I didn't have a problem with him having his hair cut. You know, that
I don't think anybody had a problem with Michael Hayes getting his hair cut, but
no.
He's the only person who had something bad to him happen on that flight that deserved it.
Yes. Yes. I mean, first of all, don't fucking try to pick a fight with Bradshaw. Why the fuck would you do that?
Well, hold on. You guys could tell me about this. Was it him or was it somebody else who legit was so hammered he went into the back and was talking to Vince and then whipped out his dick and pissed on Linda McMahon? Because I think that was Michael Hayes.
That was.
I don't know if that was
It wasn't
Hayes.
Michael
It might
Hayes.
have been- Okay.
Why
was
did
it?
that
I don't think it was
happen?
Michael Hayes.
Because you are in a small confined area for 7 hours with professional wrestlers who are all over 6 feet tall, who are all over 300 pounds. And I'm speaking for me, Bad Blood Tony, all just overgrown, huge man children who at the first sign of like unlimited alcohol, we're taking it.
Jeez.
We're
And you
horrible
know,
people.
Michael Hayes really is a racist piece of shit. But
Yeah, there's
that's
that too.
another story for another day.
That's a
Yeah, I mean, you could do a whole fucking episode on him for fuck's sake.
I was
I'm
also
fine.
thinking about the episode of Dark Side of the Ring. Look, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, as a father, I mean, as a wrestler, no, screw that. As a man, I apologize to every woman that has ever had a situation like the situation that she had with Ric Flair. Any woman that's ever had a situation where she felt uncomfortable and unsafe because of the sheer fuckery of the idiot that did something like that. So I apologize on behalf of all men for the stupidity of the few. We're not all assholes, ladies and gentlemen, I promise. I mean, sometimes, but we're not all assholes.
Yeah.
There's a difference between assholes and predators.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, they're
Okay, here's a good
We could
segue here.
and explain it as just having fun.
So, believe it or not, this part may have been the least egregious of everything that happened on that flight. The Brock
there was the least
Lesnar.
egregious part.
Yeah,
Nah.
I was gonna. Yeah,
Mr.
the Brock
Perfect looked
Lesnar-
around that plane and saw a sleeping Brock Lesnar who's still 6'4", 300 pounds and said, yes, I'm going to pick on him.
Hey,
Almost everyone died.
hey, there's a reason why they called him Mr. Perfect.
Oh my
He was
god!
perfectly insane for that shit.
I loved it because it was all fun and games, and then they started messing around near the security door or the emergency door, and that's when it gets real.
It was all fun and games so the plane was about to go down.
I know.
But
Oh
see,
god!
even that. So like they explain a lot of things on the Dark Side of the Ring episode. Like a lot of things were talked about. But the Brock versus Mr. Perfect thing, you're right, Tony. That was the least of their worries.
Yeah.
I mean,
truthfully.
and ladies and gentlemen, listen to what I'm saying. The plane was going to fucking crash. They were all going to die. And that was the least of their worries on this flight.
And that's
Man.
You know, they actually they had a dark match right around that time, as a matter of fact. It's actually pretty good. Track it down. It's a shame that Kurt ended up going out the way he did, because
tragic.
It showed that he still had a lot to contribute. But yeah. So obviously you have a inebriated Kurt Hennig, who is, and I'm saying this the lightest way possible, choosing to pick a fight with Brock Lesnar is still a rookie at this point, mind you. Rookie Brock Lesnar.
He's still a rookie, but he's still 6'4", 300 pounds and a former NCAA wrestler. Like he's even rookie Brock Lesnar. Is not somebody you find in a lineup and just like, yeah, I'm gonna mess with him.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
even with all of that, let's talk about Brock Lesnar right now, currently one of the WWE's main market stars.
Yep.
Who's not been cancel cultured already.
Because we're too scared for it.
I don't give a shit. I would lead the charge to cancel Brock Lesnar as right now.
I don't think Lesnar cares. So
I mean, Terry Reynolds. I mean, you would think he would care. His wife was sexually abused and sexually assaulted in the WWE. You know, she sued Vince McMahon for that shit. So so now he's out there whipping his dick out, flashing his dick to Terry Reynolds. And I will tell you this: me and my ex-wife may not be the best of friends, but that's my ex-wife. She's the mother of my kids. Let some dude whip his dick out. I'm not going to look at her and say, don't sell it.
Don't sell it.
Well, like that guy's ass is what I'm going to do.
Yeah. Brock Lesnar kind of has a history of shit like this because, like, I think in his book, he was like proudly talking about how he was full on stalking Sable and he broke into her house and was like, yeah, we're going to go out on a date. And that's how they hooked up.
Jesus Christ.
Jeez.
And now he keeps her up in the mountains where nobody can see her.
I mean,
that's a red flag right there, man.
Yeah, very much so.
People would have died if Haku was there.
So truthfully, so the thing with Haku is Haku is a terrifying, but he is a responsible human being. I don't know Haku to be the type that will get loaded and drunk off his ass. Most likely, he would have knocked every single person the fuck out just so he could get some peace and quiet on the plane.
He's trying to sleep.
He would be.
I agree 1,000% with that. Shout out to my boy over at oh man, Simon Miller had this thing going with Haku, and
I saw that. Simon
Miller is like to this day is definitely afraid of Haku because Haku didn't know there was a gimmick.
Yeah. So now hold on. They did the thing where they crashed the party and they told everybody it was a work except for one person.
Haku.
And it was Haku.
Haku was legit going to kill Simon Miller. It was crazy.
And it took 8 people to hold him back. And it was the most terrified I've ever seen anybody on film.
To this day. And this was like 5 or 6 years ago. This was at WrestleMania in Orlando.
Yeah.
So that was like, what, 6 years ago, 5 years ago? To this day, Simon Miller is still scared of Haku.
I believe he should be afraid of
Simon
Haku.
Miller is a short dude. He's not a small guy. He's pretty friggin' big. So.
No, I think everybody, we should all be thankful that Haku lets us live peacefully in this world with him. And I do think that if, oh, shut up. I do think that if Haku was on that plane, that the plane ride from hell wouldn't have existed because he'd be asleep and everybody would be too afraid to wake him up.
Yes, he would have.
So let's talk about
he'd be asleep. Flight. People start acting up and you'd hear, "Hey, shut up!" And then they all sit back down.
Legit. And you know, Big Mike had this to say. Michael Cole says the McMahons were now on that flight. I call bullshit. That was a flight. That was a chartered flight, 2002. The story was that Vince, Linda, and Terry Reynolds were up front. And along with John Laurinaitis and Jim Ross. Jim Ross confirmed this. And when the shit went down, they told Jim Ross to go back there and stop it. So Jim Ross, who was the head of talent relations at the time, went back there and told him to knock it off. Well, this is already after Ric Flair had whipped his dick out. This is already after the big fight. This is already after the half-drunk Scott Hall. This is already after all the other crazy shit that happened on this flight.
Dustin Runnels serenading the ex-wife.
I mean, you know, that's not so bad. I mean, it's whatever. You know?
Yeah, I think if anything, that was more
the
sad
least of the
than
sexual
anything.
harassment.
That was more sad than anything else.
Yeah, that was more. Yeah. I mean, that's like a drunk dude like begging his ex-wife to come back. You know, the whole country song thing. She takes your wife takes your car, your dog, your truck, whatever the hell it is. That's the same shit.
That was a cry for help.
Yeah, well,
that was sad. That was just sad. I didn't like that part. But they tried to make him a victim and a hero, and he wasn't. He was grabbing women, and he was still being a bad boy.
Yeah, he was.
It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. But on another note, so we're gonna go back to the ladies here on the podcast. Marie, what was, in your opinion, the worst comment that anyone has said about the Ric Flair situation?
The worst comment that someone has ever said about it.
Someone from that flight, someone from that whole situation.
Yeah.
I mean, I stay out of whatever Twitter decides to, go after, because everybody's at each other's throats. I do know that half of it wasn't really feeling the episode, or they were like, it's wrong for Ric Flair to do that, and then it's also wrong for what Tommy Dreamer said, and then this is where we're at. I really don't hang around in those circles to like bring to light some type of comment, just because everyone has their own opinions. That's what I'm gonna have to say.
Well, they
Fair
say
enough.
opinions are like assholes, and everyone has one. So it is what it is. But
They'll stank.
some of them stink. Cheryl, what do you think?
I was just absolutely disgusted by I think it was Rob Van Dam and Tommy Dreamer, or I can't remember who it was, but at least two of them were saying, "Oh, he's just playing. Fuck that shit. I'm sorry."
Yeah, that was
You're
definitely
enabling
Tommy.
that. That's just the same as driving the getaway car in a robbery. That's the same as holding the door open for a lion to get out. You're enabling. I'm sorry. You're part of it. You should all go down.
The thing for me that really bugs the shit out of me was the comment that Jim Ross said. Like, out of all the shit that's been said about this whole plane ride from hell and Ric Flair exposing himself and the fans online bashing the lady for taking a settlement and all this other shit and the whole victim blaming, the one thing that really just disgusted the fuck out of me was the fact that Jim Ross said, "Whoa, everyone else got in trouble but Ric Flair because Ric Flair's a made man."
Oh.
So what you're telling me is Ric Flair can go rape fucking 50 women, and because he's Ric Flair, it's okay. Like that shit doesn't fly. And then
that
the
bothered
Undertaker,
me.
the almighty Undertaker, the man with the streak, the god of all wrestling, had the audacity to say, those kids back play those fucking video games in the locker room, those aren't men. I miss the guys back in the day because we were men when we did the things we did. So Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty being accused of H-bombing ladies in hotels and leaving them half naked out in the hallway.
Yeah,
that's when men were men.
When you had to carry a gun into the locker room because you were scared for your safety, that's when men were men.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he were
glad to
alive
be a
today,
pussy
I'm sure we could talk to Harley Race about that.
I did want to comment on this though, if I can. For all the shoot interviews that I saw about like Ric Flair and all that kind of stuff, his colleagues never changed the one line of, it's Ric Flair being Ric Flair, or that, he's the dirtiest player of the game. And if your colleagues are constantly saying that without switching up their tune, that the writing is on the wall. And, to have this episode to really bring to light, just that kind of stuff where it's like, you should have like apologized and thought twice about it. Like, I get it. There's some women fans who will throw themselves at wrestlers. Like, it happens even with like, rock stars and stuff like that. I get that. But still, it's, to be the bigger person, you have to at least take responsibility for all the dumb shit you did, and then realize that you're able to grow. And when you're growing, you can teach other people, like, don't really idolize me. Make sure that you become your own person and don't do the things that I do. But the writing on the wall was there from the very beginning of like Ric Flair's career.
And there's also the mindset that he has. I'm Ric Flair. Everyone wants to ride Space Mountain. I'm sorry. Not every woman thinks you're hot. Not every woman wants to be near Space Mountain. And that's whipping it out yeah, it's Space Mountain. Here we go. You know, come on, you want it. You know you do, because I'm Ric Flair. No, it doesn't work that way. And that's his mindset, because he thinks he's Ric Flair. He can do whatever he wants.
Yep.
That's because it's been like, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know why I want to say untamed. It's just never been like untamed.
I know what
he
you
did.
mean.
Yeah, he's done what he.
Unhinged.
Yeah.
Unregulated.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely go.
He's
Yeah.
never been tethered.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because he's able to do what he wants, and people get away with it. But I think that sooner or later, more than soon, we got to stop giving free passes just because you're at this high pedestal. Like that sets a bad example for everyone else. Because imagine if like some type of young teenager decides to like idolize all this stuff, and then decides to go out and do it, and then when they get the consequences, they're not going to understand why it's okay for one person to do it, and then like they get all the repercussions. So like this is a learning experience for like everybody in like the entire world, from like current generation to like past generation. Like we got to stop giving free passes just because.
I think
Be held accountable.
a lot of people are going to be revisiting comments from Shane Douglas and Bret Hart when it comes to Ric Flair, because those two have always been critical of Ric Flair and all of the bullshit that he's been doing over these decades and decades of his time in the business. Those two have always been the two constants that have never gone back on anything they've said about him.
That he's a piece of shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. If you want to do some reading, go and find all of the comments that Shane Douglas especially. I mean, people have tried to write off, what Shane Douglas has said about Ric Flair as just being bitter. I don't think so.
No.
There's definitely something to that. I've always kind of had an inkling that there's been something to that, because I've always found Shane Douglas to be, a pretty intelligent guy. I've never found him to be, this bitter individual. Yeah, he could be a dick sometimes, but yeah, there's always been something to the things that he said. And so I think a lot of people should go back and re-examine some of his comments over the years. Same with Bret Hart. Bret Hart, he's always, Bret Hart's never really had a filter when it comes to a lot of wrestlers, but especially Ric Flair.
To be fair, Bret Hart does hate everybody, though.
This is true.
Hey,
this is true.
I can tell you stories about when Bret Hart was going to kill me over some Jim Neidhart did, but that's another story for another day.
See?
Yeah.
Man.
But the fact of the matter is they've both been consistent. Unlike a lot of the wrestlers over the years who have always been, well, he's Ric Flair, what are you going to do?
Every now and then he pulls out his dick and tries to rape somebody.
Exactly.
Pretty much,
exactly.
Yeah.
So, that goes to another question that I have for all of us.
Yeah.
When is enough? Like, people were talking about canceling out Joey Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
Joey Ryan, and some of the stuff was consensual. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not one of those people that will what's wrong I'm looking for here? I'm not one of those people that would bash a victim.
Right.
Because in my opinion, that's pretty fucked up.
It is.
No one asked to be molested. No one asked to be raped. No one asked to be sexually assaulted. No one asked for none of this shit.
Right.
Shout out to Toby Robinson. We're talking about the plane ride from hell, man. No person should have to deal with this type of shit.
Right.
And least of all, no person should have to deal with this type of shit and be criticized for taking a settlement just to end it. Think about it like this. In 2002, the WWE was probably like a $15-20 million company, right?
Oh,
So
more
they
than
had.
that.
Well, I'm
There's
just
a
saying.
lot more
I'm
than
just throwing a number out there.
Yeah.
Just throwing a number out there. So they were a multi-million dollar company.
Right.
This poor stewardess did not want to fucking go and fight this shit in court for years because you know the WWE with all the legalities, their legal department would have tied this up for years. And the
Yeah,
WWE,
Jerry McDevitt is a character unto himself. The infamous Vince McMahon, WWE Titan Sports lawyer. I mean, he's got his own reputation. He might as well, at this point, be a personality, you know, because you hear so much about the guy. So yeah,
you know, it's
not
like,
exactly the guy you want to go up against in court.
yeah. So you got to think about it like that. You got a guy like that who will sue his own fucking mother. Because remember, Vince was going to sue his mom. You got someone that will do all of these things to protect their company, and then you got this poor stewardess that's just like, dude, I just want this shit to be over with.
Yeah.
So she took a payout. She took a settlement. So in my opinion, if you get into a car accident, or God forbid, knock on wood, someone you know dies from a pharmaceutical drug or whatever, whatnot, and you don't want to spend 50 fucking years fighting this big billion-dollar company, because you're going to lose, because they're going to drain your money. You're not going to have any money to fight, and you're going to lose the case. So to take the settlement, that's a pretty smart thing, right? So why is everyone on Twitter, everyone on Facebook, everyone on Instagram, everyone on Snapchat, TikTok, whatever the social media network it is, bashing this lady for taking the damn payment?
They shouldn't.
But what else does them offering the settlement tell you? Shut up, hush money, don't bring this up.
Yes,
because they
absolutely.
Know that it's going to happen. That's why they tried to shut her up with hush money. If it goes to court, they have to go to court. They're fighting it. It gets notoriety, and then it's in the headlines, right? Hush money, pay her, don't go to court. We might be able to sweep this under the rug.
Exactly.
Yep.
So bashing the victim, I will say this right here on this podcast, and I don't care if I get in trouble for it or not. If you're a man or a woman that bashes someone for being raped, sodomized, molested, beaten, battered, whatever, whatnot, you are the lowest fucking scum on God's green earth. If you justify a victim being victimized, then you're a piece of shit. Let's just call it what it is. So, ladies and gentlemen, all the fans out there that have been victimizing that lady, yeah, you're a piece of shit. And I want you guys to all think about this. The people that have been people that have been bashing this lady online, the people that have been calling her all types of names and, you know, and victim shaming her. I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to picture your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, your son, your daughter. Picture them as that victim. And then open your eyes and then go back on Twitter and post some shit like that. Jesus. Denise Salcedo, she's a also a podcaster, but she does, you know, she does things for Wrestle Talk, and she does things for, you know, Fightful with Sean Ross Sapp and things like that. She was so emotionally distraught over the Dark Side of the Ring episode last week when she was on the podcast, because when she was young, a preteen, older guys were hitting on her at stores and things like that, and sexualizing the child and victimizing her as a child. Think about that.
Yeah,
that's pretty. I mean, that's pretty sick.
It is. I agree.
And people were in her comments, and people on her page like, "Oh, well, you probably deserved it. Look at the way you were dressed."
Oh God!
What the hell? So
that's excusing your own behavior and putting blame on somebody else because you can't take responsibility for your actions.
It's like when you're a cheater. If you're cheating in your relationship, but you're constantly blaming the person you're with for cheating, you're just reflecting all of that on. You're deflecting that to someone else. You're basically making what you're doing they're doing. Same thing. It's stupid. I don't know, man.
It's a rationalization because you know what you're doing is shitty behavior, but you got to rationalize it somewhere in your head. So it's their fault. It's her fault that she dressed a certain way, so I had to hit on her. What am I supposed to do? It's just shit like that.
I had a few drinks. So because I had a few drinks, it's okay for me to victimize this lady.
It's people who can't
drinks, and I
can't own up to their mistakes.
It's okay for me to drug women and leave them naked in the hallway after I raped them. That's not a fucking excuse.
Up here, if you are high on cocaine and you kill somebody, it's considered premeditated because you know that's what could happen. So you think about it, you add it up to all these other things, drunk, whatever, premeditated. Because you lose faculty of your senses, you don't have the proper control. You know it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Tony better lay off the cocaine now.
Well,
cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Mm-hmm.
But seriously, this whole thing, with Vince McMahon, and here's the thing: Vince McMahon, Linda McMahon were on the fucking plane.
Yeah, I don't care what anybody else says. They were on that flight.
Jim Ross said it. Jim Ross was like, they were on the plane.
Yeah, so I don't know where Michael Cole is trying to, exert
Michael Cole
his
is the quintessential. He's the quintessential ass kisser of the WWE.
Yeah, but this is even this is bad even for him.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about
what do you expect? He's trying to get the taste of Vince's boot off his mouth.
Yeah, he really is part of the Kiss My Ass Club.
The real life one.
Literally.
Yeah, the real life one. Yeah. So, Marie, you used to work for WWE. Tell us about that situation.
I used to work for WWE in 2018. I was part of their WWE Network logging department, which I don't even think is there anymore because they got Peacock. Yes. I got in because I had a coworker at my previous job before that one, which was at Spyscape. She knew the recruiter, and she just introduced each other. She introduced me to her, and then one thing led to another, where I went to go have my interview in the summer. And then got the job right after that.
So you're talking with a WWE employee, someone that knows the ins and outs.
Former.
Someone that knows the bullshit.
Former. But still, especially bullshit.
Yeah, I was gonna say that had to be especially working with the network. That had to be a special circle of hell from just the stories I've heard with stuff. With what creative had to deal with what other departments had to deal with.
Yeah. So basically, the one story that got picked up was when I was there for at least the first month. They tell you you're there to make the SEO stronger for people who have it. When they search for something, it comes up. So if you want to search John Cena matches, all of them should pop up. You shouldn't be John Cena 2002 and then John Cena 2003, and in that 2003 category, you get a 2002 show. It shouldn't happen that way. So my job was to sit there for 8 hours, watch a bunch of wrestling, and just put stronger SEO content into the program. Chris Benoit's a touchy subject while we're on Dark Side of the Ring here. The first week it was all right, cool. You can put Chris Benoit in there. So that way, when you search his name, the matches come up. Week 2, no, you guys can't put it in there. And they were like, don't worry, the supervisors will take care of it. All right, cool, no problem. Week 3, Vince says, yeah, put it back in. And I'm like, all right. Week 4, don't do it. The supervisor would take it. And then finally at the end, it was never mind. Don't worry about it. We'll all take care of it. So that was the first month, even though it felt really quick, but that's what it was. But yeah.
That sounds like WWE.
Yes.
It really does.
It's a whole network of people just working under the whims of one insane old man.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
We talk about that every week on here. How he thinks that wrestling fans are stupid, and this goes to prove it right here. Dark Side of the Ring. Here's the situation, ladies and gentlemen. This is what makes it even shittier in my book. Remember the WWE did a cartoon?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They took it down.
They should have. They shouldn't have put it up in the first place. You do a cartoon depicting the Dark Side of the Ring's Flight from Hell. You put a cartoon, ladies and gentlemen, not a fucking full-length video, not a video clip, not a GIF, a fucking cartoon for kids of Ric Flair twirling his penis in front of a stewardess. And it's a joke. For 20 years, it's a joke. For 18 years, it's a joke. 19 years, my bad. It's a joke. So I don't know. Shane, Mike, you guys both have it correct. In a word.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've pulled like a lot of jokes in the locker room, and none of them have ever involved sexually assaulting a woman. So maybe I'm behind on the times.
I guess we all
From
are.
sexual assaults to belts, but we're not going to talk about that.
Oh, are you still mad about that?
Yeah. It was a good rib. It was a good rib.
Poor
Well, ladies and
Tiger
gentlemen, the ribs were on the they weren't physical.
Yeah, so there's a
They
big
weren't
difference.
sexual in nature.
Yeah, so there's a big difference between a rib where nobody is actually harmed in any way, i.e., what we're talking about, and then there's what they try to pass off as ribs, but are actually forms of battery, assault, sexual assault, rape, etc., etc. One is not exactly encouraged, but, it is harmless. The other one, why the fuck would you even think of doing that?
So let's, while we're doing this, let's talk about Shawn Michaels and Marginetti.
Oh,
Do we have to?
Oh yeah, we do. Oh my God, Zach, I just got this picture forwarded to me from your.
yeah, I got it from him. I got it from V2.
Wow, I totally forgot about that. Now I have to go watch my walls again.
I don't think that one was your belt.
What are you doing?
I got it.
Damn it!
Oh, you got it.
No,
too?
that one wasn't. That one wasn't yours. That was somebody else's. That they got mad at me for that too.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
I know.
God.
Speaking of Shawn Michaels too, because
Speaking of Shawn Michaels, yeah, I was gonna
That's why
say
it was
this
funny.
sounds like if this is the one I'm thinking of, then yeah.
Once again, let me go ahead and give a quick shout out to our boy Cassidy Haynes, MrBodySlam.net, the man, the spoiler himself. Cassidy Haynes, the guy who, aka the spoiler. He's breaking news left and right. Breaking news. CM Punk is wearing trunks this Friday.
Oh.
Oops, did I say that out loud?
Oh, his legs are in shape now, eh?
oh boy, it's like all my Christmases rolled into one.
Oh wow.
He finally
Back seat.
remembered the squat rack.
Yeah, back in trunks. He's walking around the house doing lunges. But yeah, as a matter of fact, tonight they're doing AEW, the Friday
Rampage.
show,
Yeah.
Rampage.
Slam.
It's 2 hours.
Yeah,
2
so
hours tonight, and I
um,
think it was another 2 hours on Friday, right?
Oh joy.
you're
I don't
good.
even know.
I'm gonna give a shout out to my good friend Amy. She's doing some big things in Indianapolis, Indiana. She's helping young individuals with mental health conditions. And quick shout out to her. She's having a pretty rough day at work. And yeah, shout out to you, Amy. Doing a good job as usual. Proud of you. She's
It'll get
watching the
better.
show, by the way.
It will get better.
Is she watching it at work? Stop doing that.
No, she's at home. I assume.
Oh,
it's like
okay.
midnight.
I was
It's
gonna
midnight
say,
in her-
please don't watch us at work.
But
Please
once
don't.
again, shout out to our boy Casting Haynes at BySam.net. He legitly has watched all of the Arthur Ashe AEW show, and now he is still there in New York. It is now midnight,
Yeah.
and he's watching AEW Rampage for your enjoyment, ladies and gentlemen, so he can report the scoops and all the spoilers. Go ahead, check it out, ladies and gentlemen. You can go watch all the exclusive podcasts, all the exclusive news, breaking news on www.bodyslam.net. Go check it out, www.bodyslam.net. Anyway, Shawn Michaels, Marginetti, the Rockers.
Yes.
H-bombs. Who wants to tackle this horrible situation?
I'm a fan. What is an H-bomb?
It's essentially a roofie.
It's basically a super powered roofie.
Like the boys were doing it to each other, which, in my opinion, we've done some really fucked up stuff in the locker room, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not gonna lie. We have done some crazy stuff, like pubic hair on elephant ears and all that crazy shit. We've done some nasty shit, pissing in Gatorade bottles. You know, if you're watching Being the Elite, they have a bit. It is called. It's when Carl Anderson drinks the drink, and he gets a sour look on his face, and he calls himself, what is it called? Sour Boy? That's the whole gimmick. He drinks a drink. Sour Boy, that's the whole gimmick, right? Those are stories that happen in the locker room. You know, kind of like the Randy Orton shitting in people's bags, and you know, just we do we do stupid stuff like that. Like one time, Zach Winters, did the Shawn Michaels Playgirl pose with a championship belt of mine, and didn't tell me until I walked into the curtain and I put the belt around my waist, and he walks up and shows me the picture, and he's like, smacks me in the butt and go get him, Tiger. As I'm looking, I'm like, are you kidding?
Now let's be okay. Now that was legit. That's legitimately funny.
And that's funny. That's a funny rib. Just like when he left his bag in my ex-wife's car at Easter time, and I took my kids' Easter candy and I sprinkled it in the bag, put toilet paper between my butt cheeks, and took a picture and said, "Look what the Easter Bunny left me." So
again, this is legitimately
these
funny.
Are funny ribs, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
No one has dropped any roofies in my drink and taken advantage of me.
And
no
then I
one
went
has
over and slashed
sexually
his tires.
assaulted
It was funny.
in the locker room, and thank God no one has thrown their penis at me in a locker room.
What?
I would not be
thrown their penis at you.
I would not be. I would not be on this podcast. I would probably be still in jail from them putting their penis on me in a locker room.
Oh,
I'd find a knife.
With that being said, Shawn Michaels and Mario Giannetti, and various other individuals.
Oh yes.
The stories have been that they've like taken girls, rats as the guys call them.
Yeah.
And roofied them, had sex with them. What was the phrase they used? What was it? Throughout the laundry.
Oh,
throughout the laundry. Yeah.
Yeah.
This was apparently a frequent thing at ECW as well with the boys. That
doesn't shock me.
You know, I asked a mutual friend of ours that was at a wrestling show with us on Saturday, an ECW original.
Yes.
Someone I've known for about 25 years.
Yes.
And he was like, yeah, there have been those stories, man. And there's some guys that were in the locker room back in the day that did that when you went city to city doing that shit. Crazy.
Yeah, I brought up the Todd is God thing with him when I talked to him, and
hey, Todd Gordon is the man, bro. Todd Gordon, shout out to Todd Gordon. Todd Gordon gave my first Rolex ever.
Didn't he? Did he die?
No, he's still alive.
No, he's alive.
Oh, okay.
He owns
alive
a jewelry store in New York.
And still, yeah. I was gonna say, that was actually one of the things we talked about. Him and his what was it? A $5 million valued building where his jewelry store is.
I was a fresh-faced 15-year-old child breaking into the professional wrestling business, and I met Gary Wolf. And Gary Wolf helped me out by getting me bookings with Jasmine Sinclair and Todd Gordon's 3PW, which became the original Pro Wrestling Unplugged. And Todd was like, what do you want for a PO? And I told him how much I wanted. And he was like, okay. How about I give you a Rolex? Legit. I was 15 years old, rolling with a Rolex, a legit diamond out, blinged out Rolex. The guy owned the at that time it was like $1.5 million valued jewelry like store. It's been in his family for generations. Like the guy was filthy rich when he created ECW with Paul Heyman. That's besides the point. So you got guys, a WWE legend, someone behind the scenes at NXT, allegedly, and I'm gonna use the word allegedly because I don't have any proof and I wasn't there. Thank God, because if I got H-bombed, we'd have problems. We're H-bombing young ladies because they were famous, they were good looking, and they were top of the card. H-bombing these young ladies, and then affectionately calling them laundry and throwing the dirty laundry out the door.
Yeah.
But
I'm honestly surprised more stories about this have not come out.
I'm pretty sure Dark Side of the Ring is gonna like look that up too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they've already announced that they're going ahead with season 4, so I'm pretty sure that they're going to be talking.
I'll put it to you this way: season 4 is going to be all about this.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, tonight's episode is going to be about Chris Kanyon. We already know there's a lot of people that mistreated him in his time, not just with WWE, but also in WCW. From the few clips that I've seen where Dallas Page got incredibly emotional during his interview time.
Was his best friend.
Yeah, exactly. If he were still alive, I'm sure Bam Bam Bigelow would have definitely been emotional about Chris. Yeah, there's going to be some reckoning for this episode too, possibly on the same level as the plane ride from hell. Maybe not as far as pure numbers of people, but just the sheer levels of fucking shit that happened. We're going to hear some horrible fucking things. I'm damn sure.
This one's going to be more focused on bullying, I'm imagining.
Yes, very much
so. Be a star. Be a star.
Very much so.
That's their whole campaign, man. To be a star. Sometimes I'm like, is it really worth it? Like, you guys really mean it, when they do that stuff.
No, it's another thing they could just put on. They could put on a commercial and say, "Hey, look how good and pure we are." Never mind all the skeletons in this closet, though.
Yeah,
they don't.
There's a saying.
Closet.
There's a saying that Tommy Sales used to always say. And he used to say, "We all know where the bodies are buried."
Yeah. Getting back to Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty, can we speak out into existence that on season 4, Dark Side of the Ring, they really go in depth with all that to bring that to light.
I hope they do an episode on Marty Jannetty at least.
Again, Shawn Michaels is another one that shouldn't get a pass. Just because he's homeboys with Triple H, and he's always been protected throughout his whole entire career for whatever stupid shit that he's done. And I would like to know the story behind the stuff that he's done. But then again, it doesn't make it right to H-bomb women, take them into a hotel room, do whatever you want with them, and then throw them to the side. That's not cool. It's not it should never happen that way.
So as far as Shawn Michaels goes, so if you're going to do an episode on Shawn Michaels, you kind of have to do an episode on Sunny at the same time.
Yeah.
You kind of have to cover those two subjects simultaneously just because of how intertwined they are. You kind of have no choice. Yeah, literally, yeah. You kind of have no choice, honestly. So it's kind of why you can do Marty Jannetty as his own episode, but I kind of see if they're going to do, it's really hard to do anything as far as Shawn Michaels goes as his own episode, unfortunately, just because of you're not going to get a lot of cooperation, I would imagine, from a lot of people. But if you do an episode on Marty Jannetty where you can have these other stories in, that relate to Shawn Michaels, and if you do an episode on Tammy Stitch where you're going to have these Shawn Michaels related stories, that's kind of how you get around that stuff, I think.
I gotta interject real quick. I gotta do this real quick. Gotta do an AEW Rampage spoiler.
All
And I
right.
just got it from the horse's mouth.
Yes.
A member of Rated 2G, the notorious 187 Homicide,
What?
shows up at AEW Rampage. Homicide is all elite.
Wow. I was gonna say the Forbidden Door continues.
He went out, he had to go after Suzuki because they're going to be fighting on Friday.
GCW, right?
Yeah. Wait, is it? Yes, the 24th. So yeah, Friday. They're going to be fighting at GCW.
Shout out to
Makes
my
sense.
tag team partner extraordinaire, the one and only Homicide 187. That's right.
I love
2G
Homicide.
in the house. Anyway, I had to give my boy a shout out. It's funny because
Yeah.
I just texted him the other day and I told him,
Yeah.
and for you guys that know me, Zach, and for you, Tony, you guys know that I'm all business sometimes, and sometimes people don't get me. Like I'll say something nice to someone and they automatically assume something's wrong. Classic example. I sent Homicide a text the other day. And I said, I just want to tell you that I'm grateful to have you as a friend, as a mentor. I appreciate you and just want to say thank you. You inspire me and you push me to make myself better every day. His response was, "You okay?" I said, "Yeah, man, I'm good. I just wanted to tell you that." He's like, "Okay, God bless."
All right.
I honestly think the most scared I've ever been in a locker room was, I just had a pretty good match, and then this was actually in Willamina. Bad Blood pulls me aside and says, "Hey, kid, I just want you to know that after tonight, I respect you." And the whole night, I was expecting someone to pop out and get me. I was paranoid. I was jumping at the shadows.
Why are people scared if I say something nice?
Well,
Like,
the
I'm
thing
not-
is, if you say the words "I respect you," those have a connotation.
Why?
After the whole
Why?
Pillman and
What's
Sullivan thing, when the Pillman and Sullivan thing happened, when he goes, "I respect you,
I respect you, Booker man.
I do have.
See why you would be a little paranoid.
I have a mini funny Homicide story that I had an interaction with him. This was like a couple years ago. It was at the Elks Lodge, and this is towards the end of the event. He's back, he's out on the little patio thing. He's out there having a good time with him and Julius Smokes, which I really adore him as well. And I go up to him and I shake his hand and I'm like, "Oh, thank you for everything that you've done in the business. I'm really a huge fan." And he's like, "Oh, thank you. Yeah, make sure you stay in school and get a degree." And I'm like, "Okay, Homicide, thanks, man." And I'm over here I already got my degree in creative writing and a publishing certificate, but I'm like, "All right, cool." He's like, this
One thing
guy.
people don't realize about Homicide, he is such like you see him in the ring, and he's like, "Fuck, this guy's stabbing you with a fork," and this guy's a straight up thug. This guy's crazy. He is a very devoted father.
I was gonna say,
He is a very he's such a good guy. I call him the modern day Bruiser Brody. That's just me. He is such the gentle, nice dude. There'll have been times where I've been on a fucking rampage, no pun intended. And I'm like, I'm done. I'm just done. And then I'll be like, "Oh man, blah, blah, blah. Let me hit D up real quick," and I'll text him. Smooths me out all the time. All the time.
yeah, I
legit said he's my-
here.
He's on my Mount Rushmore of wrestling.
Of the stories that have come out about the so-called I guess reputation about Homicide, that might be the most wholesome.
Don't get it twisted. Don't cross him. Don't be an asshole.
Yeah.
Don't do
Right,
stupid shit.
exactly.
Because homicide will bury your ass. Don't be
Yes,
a bitch. Don't be stupid. Don't do stupid shit. Be
Yeah.
professional. As long as you're professional, as long as you're respectful, you know, he's got you. I mean, ask Sammy
Oh, yeah.
Guevara.
Yes. 100% agree.
We'll talk about that off the air. But
Yeah. But yeah, like
also
you,
night, me
you
and
see a
Homicide
guy
became
like
good
that
friends.
who one of his most infamous moments in pro wrestling is literally pouring bleach down Colt Cabana's throat. And like, yeah. So it's like you're thinking of that guy and then you're hearing this story. Well, thank you. Stay in school. Get your degree.
Yeah.
Such a good guy. I'm telling you, just such a good guy. Shout out to my boy Homicide, ladies and gentlemen. Go find him on social media and tell him you respect his work.
Indeed.
But yeah. Anyway, going back to the topic at hand.
Yes.
The disgusting. See, it's always nice to have some good shit.
Yeah, we need
Gotta
to
have
mix
some
in.
levity.
Yeah, we need to mix in a little bit of wholesomeness every
Okay,
once in a
y'all want to
while.
mix in some wholesomeness? Yeah, I really want to
Sure.
get down with some wholesomeness.
Sure.
One of the greatest things I've heard all week. AEW is going to do an Owen Hart tribute show. called
Yeah.
Owen
Yes,
Hart, Owen
I
Hart
saw
Cup.
this.
Now, great news because Owen Hart's going to finally be recognized for the great fucking wrestler he was. His foundation, the Owen Hart Foundation, is going to receive a lot of fucking money for this, and
Yes.
and Martha gets to finally let the fans grieve and let the fans appreciate everything that Owen did for the business. I'm like Shane. I am so fucking excited for this.
Yeah, this was actually. So I saw this and I'm just kind of like, Tony Khan has to be like some kind of a soothsayer, right?
No, let me tell you about Tony Khan. See, let me tell you about Tony Khan.
Smooth
There's
as
Vince
silk.
McMahon. Vince McMahon, who doesn't give two shits about what you as a fan thinks. I mean, he thinks you guys are stupid. Look at Braun Breaker.
Yeah.
He is the spitting image of his dad. Same tattoo on the same arm. Same wrestling repertoire. He is fucking Rick Steiner at 6'2".
Yeah.
He is such a his promo. Oh my god.
Yeah.
He sounded like Scott Steiner for a little bit. I was like, this
I was
dude better
gonna
not break
say
out.
he looks
he
like his
better not
dad.
fucking
He
start talking
sounds
math.
like his uncle.
He better not start talking math because if he does, game over. But he is such a great wrestler and such a great talent, and looks like they're on commentary like this guy's like a dog-faced gremlin, and look at the suplexing. Then why don't you just name him fucking Rex Steiner?
I was gonna say he gave the name is right there.
Why don't you just name him Rex Steiner? You know why, ladies and gentlemen? Because Vince McMahon thinks you're fucking stupid. Now, on the flip side, Tony Khan, he says, hey, you know what? And and me and Julian talked about this on Monday, and we had a little debate about it. But I look at this like this. The WWE dropped the ball. Not only did they drop the ball, they kicked that motherfucker in the street and was hoping the truck would run it over and a dog would run by and piss on it. Like, they really just did all of that to that ball. Tony Khan came along, sprayed some bleach on it, cleaned it off, put some air back in it, brought it back to play.
Yeah.
So now he took the legacy of Owen Hart, brought it to AEW. Is going to put together this amazing cup, which, in my opinion, Brian Pillman Jr. should win, considering
down
Brian
for that.
Pillman's affiliation with the Hearts. You want to put Brian Pillman over as a fucking major star? You let him win that cup. That's just me speaking. Fantasy booking.
I would be totally cool with that.
But then you have this Owen Hart Cup. A very famous WWE guy who was inspired by Owen Hart named his fucking son Owen. His contract is coming soon, and I believe he was posting some coordinates to Mount
Oh
Rushmore.
yeah.
So that would be a hot take if a gentleman by the name of Kevin Steen showed up at AEW. I'm just saying. I might be dropping some knowledge here. I might be spoiling it for you, ladies and gentlemen. What about El Generico? Just saying. Somebody might put that mask on and show up and blame Busta somebody on the top rope, and you never know. Great shit might be happening. But the Owen Hart Memorial Cup, that's a legacy making decision by Tony Khan.
Yes, it is.
Tony Khan has done more in the last 2 years, and this is just me speaking as a professional wrestler, not as a fan, not as a fanboy or anything like that. Tony Khan has done more in the last 2 years than Vince McMahon has done in the last 30. AEW, Impact Wrestling, NWA, at one point MLW, AAA,
Yep.
New Japan Pro Wrestling,
Yep.
several Joshi companies.
Yep.
Okay, think about that. All of these companies, all this amazing talent. You got Daniel Bryan versus Kenny Omega tonight.
Yeah, you do.
You had
And that was a ridiculous
CM
match.
Punk. Yeah, you had CM Punk versus Darby Allin. CM Punk, who hasn't wrestled in 7 years, what was it, 7,967 days? It's a lot of fucking time to be away from the ring. Vince McMahon can throw boatloads of money, and CM Punk was like, "Nah, I'm good, bro." Tony Khan was like, "Hey, man, look, I want to bring you back. I will do this. I will do this for you. I will rent out the biggest building in Chicago and not tell fans that you're there, just to show you how much they missed you." And they sold out. Now, WrestleNomics, there it is. If you open the forbidden door for ROH, can you imagine CM Punk versus Jay Lethal?
Man. So the thing
Daniel
with
Bryan versus
ROH,
Naito?
the thing with ROH, unfortunately, because I'm forgetting the name of the company that they're owned by. Sinclair, yeah. Unfortunately, because they're owned by Sinclair, they kind of exist in their own little bubble. They work with Noah and CMLL, and that's
Yeah.
it. So
But
they
see,
kind of
that's the thing,
exist
though.
off in their own little world, unfortunately. And
But
so
with that forbidden door being kicked wide open, you have so many dream matches. I mean, people are getting tired of seeing. Remember when we saw Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre? Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre for fucking 10 weeks straight.
Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar for the 5th fucking year.
You got AJ Styles and Almost versus fucking Randy Orton and Matt Riddle for like 6 straight weeks.
Jesus.
Rematch Central. WrestleMania Rewind, WrestleMania Recount, WrestleMania fucking Rewatch.
That is the
whatever.
one thing that I will give all the props in the world to AEW for. The fact that you rarely see these rematches, if at all, because they have such a massive roster. And I used to say that the roster would work against them, but so I kind of got to thinking. I don't think I've ever seen a back-to-back rematch.
Won't.
Yeah. So
and look at the
because
great thing. Look at the
because
great
they have
thing,
that
dude.
ability. Yeah.
You got they're built, and this is something Vince McMahon still hasn't done. He's trying to do an NXT 2.0, which is actually NXT 5.0 because there's been 5 iterations of that fucking NXT. But in the last 2 years, Jungle Jack Perry, Jungle Boy, has become a star. Hangman Adam Page, a fucking star, and the fastest rising star right now. Even so fast rising that his parents went on Twitter and legit posted a picture. They said, "We hate MJF."
I saw this.
The mom had a fucking sign that says, "I'm MJF's mom, and I don't even like him." I saw that. I was like, man, I'm retweeting that because that is too funny. But you got MJF, Creative Pro Wrestling guy. You got that guy. Superstar. Right? When was the last time WWE made a superstar?
Oh, God.
Oh, wait. When was the last time they made a new superstar? Someone homegrown. It got to the point where Ricky Starks went on Twitter. I remember Ricky Starks from California. I remember Ricky Starks from Texas. So I knew Ricky Starks before he became absolute Ricky Starks. Right? Ricky Starks went on Twitter and was like, yeah, he's a former NWA World Television Champion. with Ricky Starks, he's stated, "I am an AEW homegrown talent."
Yep.
Like, think about that for a second. Young Ricky Starks, an AEW homegrown talent. Look what they're doing for Bay Area's own Will Hobbs.
Yes. He gets to be CM Punk's second match at AEW. I mean, that's insane. And that was honestly a match that I kind of didn't want to see, right away. I wanted them to build that up.
Look what they're doing. They're look, classic example. Hook. Hook hasn't had one fucking professional wrestling match.
Yeah.
And he put on a Dragon Sleeper last week.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the internet fucking melted down.
Yeah, they did.
He said one word. Oh my God. It was like fucking Orange Cassidy speaking for the first time. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Remember when Sting fucking was up in the rafters and didn't talk for a whole year?
Yep.
Yeah.
It was like when Sting first said something. It was like, oh my God, he speaks.
Yeah.
Homegrown talent.
Yep.
What does the WWE do? Oh, they got this kid almost, who was a ninja at WrestleMania in the 24/7 thing with Akira Tozawa. Keep in mind, that was the same match that a fucking dinosaur or a octopus or a sand demon or a butt demon or whatever the fuck it was that came out of the trash can and sucked them all into the trash can. Remember that stupid shit?
WWE's had like several homegrown like stars, but they've let them all go.
Yeah.
Name one.
This is fair.
Braun Strowman, Bray Wyatt.
Braun Strowman was on the Indies first.
Was he?
Yep.
So
Braun
can we
Strowman
say
was
The Rock?
The Rock. The Rock was at USWA. Flex Cavana. Next.
Rockers were in NWA first.
Oh.
Or WCW.
Rockers were AWA.
Now you're just being an ass about it.
Oh, no,
what I'm
no,
saying
no,
is
no.
that what I'm saying is that like
want someone to tell me a WWE.
So as far as going up through the actual
ground up.
Can't even say Paige because she was in the UK first.
Next.
Yeah, I was gonna. So are we counting their entire developmental system?
Their entire developmental system was
developmental system.
I was gonna say Roman Reigns would probably be the last one then.
He was Florida.
Yep.
Well, that's what I mean by their developmental system.
He was in the Indies before he went to Florida. Before he went there.
What about
was?
you got? Like, what about like there are people that were on Tough Enough? Mike Mizanin.
Mike Mizanin started UPW in California. Next.
Damn.
That's true.
I was with Mike Mizanin when he first showed up at UPW at the Light Center in El Segundo, California, and he walked in there and we were like, "Look, this fucking MTV guy, he ain't gonna make it." And Chris Daniels and Kevin Quinn were like, "We're gonna make that guy a star," and boom, there it is. So, who else? Yeah, we can do this shit all night.
I mean, mostly
can't say John Cena. John Cena came from UPW also. Hulk Hogan from the AWA.
Yeah, but nobody knew what a John Cena was till he came to the WWE. That's my point with Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt.
That's kind of the same thing that I was. Yeah.
Is that like they were wrestlers?
They started somewhere else, and that's
technically we were all under WWE. Technically, we were all, including myself, a WWE developmental guy when we worked at UPW. So, I guess you could say they were WWE homegrown guys.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, if we're talking about going through the WWE developmental system, I mean, you kind of have to count Roman Reigns there, right?
Tyson Tomko.
Oh my God!
Didn't we say superstars?
Oh my God.
We said superstars, right? Who the fuck is Tyson Tomko?
Oh God,
Gene Snitsky.
Oh,
you don't hold on. No,
yes, you're gonna say Isaac Yankem DDS, right?
Are you talking about the living tribal tattoo? The man who, if like early 2000s edgelord became a person?
I got one. And this is a true fact. This is a WWE homegrown talent. No indie wrestling experience, none of that.
Okay.
Shane McMahon.
Husky Harris.
No, bullshit. I said Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, he did. He did.
And you're like, no, I'm
right,
bad
right.
blood. I know everything.
Hey, I was 99
That's my
out of
impression of
100.
you. That's what
I
you
was
sound
99
like.
out of 100.
Oh God.
Point I'm making is AEW has brought all these young guys
What
in.
about Wade Barrett? He was a bare knuckle?
Wade Barrett
but-
was a wrestler over in the UK first.
Oh,
He was huge in the UK.
Yes. Stupid.
I'm still salty over the fact that I was right the whole time. And you still had your head up your ass. So I'm still just going to rub that.
The greatest wrestler of all time that was WWE homegrown. The greatest wrestler of all time that's WWE homegrown is Shane McMahon, the best in the world.
420. I'm 420, 69. I'm so cool.
Shane McMahon, the best in the world. Anyway,
he's the best. He won that. He legit won that title. He is the best in the world. I don't care what.
CM Punk
he won that.
Well, then you got to say Stephanie too, because didn't she get in the ring and wrestle as well? And
I mean, if
Guerrero.
If that's what you want to call it.
Yeah.
Wow.
She's still better than Paul Moonshine.
She got in the ring and she did some things.
Okay. So something I just want to address before we conclude the show here. I'm looking at the future list of Dark Side of the Ring episodes.
Cool.
And I just kind of want to go through these and.
Wait! Before you do that. Before you do that, we got to pay some bills. We'll be right back.
Professional wrestling is one of the toughest sports going today. If you ever dreamed of being a professional wrestler, then former WWE superstar and World Tag Team Champion Sir Mo of the famed tag team Men on a Mission invites you, yes, you, to join his Bumps and Bruises Academy. Now in 2 locations in Carrollton, Texas and Sherwood, Arkansas. Allow Sir Mo and his head coach, Dante Smiley, and other coaches to get you on the road to an exciting and rewarding career. Classes forming now for your shot. Contact Sir Mo at 704-819-7312 or fill out an information questionnaire now. Don't wait, make your dreams come true today by joining the Bumps and Bruises Pro Wrestling Academy.
Hi, this is James Beard with SWE Fury, and you're watching the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast.
Shout out to James Beard and the SWE organization out there in Texas, doing the most out there. Also, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to go check out some exciting news, bodyslam.net for all your wrestling needs. www.bodyslam.net.
All right. So like I said, I was going through some of the remaining episodes for this season, and I just kind of want to gauge everybody's interest on the subject matter, kind of see where we want to have some revisits of some of our guests or possibly some suggested guests for some of these episodes. So the episode next week will be on Onita's FMW.
Cool.
So from what I understand, this one is actually, from the few clips I've seen, this is actually a really tragic episode in that it goes into one of the owners of the company and his issues with the Japanese Yakuza.
Well, you know, we should probably get what's his name? Leatherface to come on the podcast.
Okay, I think we could definitely.
He's the
do that.
FMW gentleman.
Yep. Phoenix Kid is a pretty big FMW fan. We've had many discussions there. So, yeah. Yep. Zach, I know you've you got the death match tendency, shall we say? So, absolutely, we'll definitely have you on.
You know, it's funny you say that. You say Zach has the death match tendencies.
Yes.
Unless it's a wet floor sign.
Oh, God.
True. I have been hit with barbed wire, thumbtacks, Legos, glass, all that shit. But you come at me with a wet floor sign, it's not happening.
No.
It's like God, I hate it so much.
Oh man, I remember a War Games match where I got hit between the legs with a barbed wire wrapped crutch, and the guy who hit me with that barbed wire wrapped crutch ran from me because I picked up the wet floor sign. He literally jumped over the top of the cage as I threw the wet floor sign at his head. A wet floor sign that's rubber, that's plastic.
No, it's
you
plastic.
hit me between the legs with a barbed wire wrapped crutch.
Oh, that was me? I didn't run.
No, it wasn't you.
Oh,
It was my
I thought you said
team
it was
that
me.
time.
I was like, no, there was the time where we like legit fought over the wet floor sign in a War Games match. I didn't run. You were coming at me with it, and I hit you. I work shot you, and then I tried to snatch it back from you, and you wouldn't let go. So I hit you in the dick really hard, and you let go, and then I threw the wet floor sign out of the cage.
Yep.
Because you're not hitting me with that.
Yep.
First
No Limits Hardcore champion, ladies and gentlemen.
First episode of October will be on Bruiser Bedlam, aka Johnny Canine. So if you're not familiar with Smoky Mountain Wrestling, this name will probably not be familiar to you. This man has a fascinating history, not necessarily in professional wrestling, but I mean, we're talking some shit, like Hell's Angels, biker gangs, and assassinations through bombing attempts. This one's going to be so this is not going to necessarily be for the wrestling fans. This is going to be like for the true crime people that are going to want to watch this episode. Because this dude was a weird motherfucker.
It's gonna be one of those crazy.
And that's saying a lot.
Just like, what did I watch?
Exactly. Second episode of October will be on another tragic figure, Luna Vachon.
I'm looking forward to that one.
I am too. I don't think anybody has ever said a bad word about Luna throughout the years that she'd been in the business, and she really did deserve better.
Like 30 years too early.
Yeah.
Like imagine Luna Vachon now.
Oh God.
And she'd be killing it. But she's stuck
thrived.
She's stuck with Sable.
Yeah. And then on the other side of that coin, we will have Rob Black's XPW the third week of October.
Speaking of XPW is back, baby.
It is.
Are they going to talk about how they tried to cut off the Messiah's dick?
I think they will.
I hope so.
Okay, now I'm going to say this right now. I'm going to go out and say this right effing now. I had a match with Messiah. And at this time, Lesnar Supreme, rest in peace, Joey Chaos, White Trash Johnny Webb, they all came to me and they said, hey, this kid loves to get beat with a chair. Beat his ass. I'm like, oh, really? Dude, he fucking loves it. Now, Billy, I know you're probably watching this show, so I'm just going to go ahead and shoot real quick. So I'm going to go ahead and just call it what it is right now. This right now, ladies and gentlemen, is the shooting hour. During this match, I proceed to rack him one good time with a chair shot. I never give you chair shots to the head because I don't want anybody getting CTE because of me. So I give him one across the back. Boom. He says, hit me again. Okay.
Just erect.
Boom. Hit me again. Harder. And I'm like, what in the fuck? Okay.
Did he call you daddy?
Boom. I hit him so hard that the chair bent across his back. And I go to pick him up to body slam him, and I slam him on top of the chair. And I hook his leg for the pin. 1, 2, 3. Referee raised my hand. I roll out of the ring. He's laying there, and he's got this giddiest, what the fuck kind of look on his face. I go back to the locker room, and I look down on my tights. What do I see?
Semen.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Oh,
I know the story.
He got so excited.
Yep.
I was kidding.
So aroused.
Yep.
I'm not
that he
happy
shot
anymore.
himself on my fucking tights. And I look
I don't
at
like that
Joey.
anymore.
I like how you
I
guys.
look at
I don't
Joey.
like this
I look at
anymore.
Lester, and I say, "What the fuck?" And they start laughing their ass off.
That's awful. I don't like this.
And he comes back to the
Zach
back.
needs an adult.
Now he's
This
wrestling
is
as
gross.
Iron Mike Earhart at the time. He comes back to the back, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" And he has stains all over his fucking trunks, and I was like, "That's it. I'm done." I'm
No,
sick of it.
like,
that was
yeah.
in Tulare, California. Okay,
If anybody comes on me in the ring, everybody's catching hands.
man, hands,
I'll
feet,
be
wet floor signs, all that shit.
Yep.
unhappy.
So, point of the matter is, if they talk about
There's
cutting
a
his
point.
finger off because of Christy Miss and all that shit, they need to talk about the fact that he likes to bust his loads on people during matches.
They're not going to
should-
talk about that.
He should be the originator of the fucking list, as far as I'm concerned.
Speaking of unhappy, the
Wait,
final.
wait. Before you go any further, dude, did you guys hear the latest news?
Oh.
Marty
I bet it's
Scurll
gonna be
is
something
back.
stupid.
Marty Scurll is back.
God damn it!
Really?
Yes.
I thought he was somebody who was blackballed.
Marty Scurll is making his first appearance at a wrestling show. I gotta find the information, but I saw it. I was like, "Excuse me,
It's not a good
is that
thing.
Marty Scurll?" And it was Party Time Marty or some weird shit.
I don't think he should be going under that name.
I just lost my shit. I'm like, after all the cancel culture stuff that's going on, really? Party Time Marty.
That's not a good thing to be doing right now.
No, not especially when Marty Jannetty would refer to his little
Angus?
yeah, whatever you want to call it. He liked to call them his Marty parties.
Ew.
Yeah. So
I like
probably not a good.
Oh my
probably,
God.
probably not the best fucking name to use there, Marty Scurll. Probably not. Now I'm unhappy.
Oh man.
And again,
I had to sprinkle in some dust from that conversation.
yeah.
Man.
And again, nobody's going to be happy when this last episode of the season airs at the end of October because it is on the steroid trials.
Oh,
Ooh.
man.
I'll be happy. I'll be laughing my ass off.
Oh God.
Especially when they call Nail up to the stand.
Marty Scurll.
Oh God.
Marty Scurll announces plans to reboot the promotion with a tournament on November 7th. Marty Scurll teases a return to where? XPW.
I got a question for everybody. Who do you think should have a Dark Side of the Ring episode? And Bad Blood, you can't pick yourself.
Shit, I don't want to be on that fucking shit. That never goes good.
I don't
That
think anybody's
never
looked good in that
goes good.
show.
We could
Well-
throw Joey Ryan on that.
I've never seen one Dark Side of the Ring where the guy was like, that was great. No.
Well, New Jack did, but then he died 2 weeks later.
The
Before
New
I
Jack
came on the
episode
podcast,
was
goddamn,
the New
what's
Jack
that?
episode was good. I will. Yeah. I mean. Yeah.
I have 2 picks. Toots Mont and Spudnik Monroe.
Ooh, Sputnik Monroe would actually. So when it comes to
I got one.
because wrestling was not when wrestling was not integrated, especially in the Memphis area back in what was it, the 60s, 70s. Oh God, ugh. Jesus Christ. Anyway,
It's a person who likes to sexually assault women. By the way.
XPW is going to be running in upstate New York.
Oh, that's
Really?
Black Live is book. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Cosby on his first show.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh
So,
my
yeah.
god.
So yeah, Sputnik Monroe would honestly be fucking fascinating. I would definitely want to see that. You could get so many different guys to come in as guests. I mean, you could talk about he was basically the reason that Memphis wrestling became a thing.
Yep.
Like, it's the reason. I mean, we wouldn't have Jerry Lawler without Sputnik Monroe, among other people. I mean, you probably don't even have Randy Savage without Sputnik Monroe. So yeah, I would be totally for that.
What about?
Hey, but you're forgetting the one major thing.
And his like for the boys and pushing them if they.
Oh, the Pat Patterson scandal.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
you'll get a push if you let me get a push.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised if that gets covered in season 4.
That'll probably be the Ring Boy scandal.
Isn't
That'll
that
probably
why Barry Horowitz got so far? No, no, it wasn't him. It was
Shawn Michaels got so far.
Lombardi,
yeah.
Yeah.
Steve Lombardi, huh? Oh wow.
Steve
Okay,
Lombardi.
well, allegedly, how Shawn Michaels got pushed too, but
yeah.
Give me
thought that was how
kind of thing.
Of course he did. Look at
But
his
the main
magazine.
story, the main story of Dark Side of the Ring, second half of season 3, will be the WWE Steroid Trials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the thing about that episode that I found fascinating, that apparently they got Jerry McDevitt on as a guest.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Yeah, apparently he's going to be on. Apparently the big time lawyer for Vince McMahon is going to be on as a guest for that episode.
I really like. In my head, I picture him as like Saul Goodman. You know what I mean? He's got the big pinky ring. He's got the loud suits.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the bad haircut, and he's just a scum, but just dripping scumbag, but charismatic as hell.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's how I picture him.
Be charismatic.
I'm sorry?
How can a scumbag be charismatic?
Oh,
there was a whole TV show. Watch Better Call Saul.
Yes.
I was about to say,
Yes.
yeah, there's a couple scumbags that are really charismatic. Ric Flair.
Yep.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, going back to what we were talking about.
Yep. God, who would I want to see covered on the show, or what? I mean, the plane ride from hell, obviously. The Montreal screw job. I mean, as far as famous incidents that have been covered, yeah, I would kind of want something on just a major incident in time where you had possibly more than one. The NWA ECW.
Shane Douglas throwing the belt down.
Yeah, where Shane Douglas basically threw down the belt and declared the NWA
Eastern
dead.
Championship Wrestling
That would be.
world
That's what
champion.
I would want to see that covered.
You know, it'd be a good episode.
Wasn't there a wrestler that died in the locker room?
There's been a few.
Sandman died in the locker room, but he came back to life.
Oh my God. I know an episode that might draw some interesting heat.
Remember, it can't be about you.
Oh no, it ain't about me. It's about I don't want to be a Dark Side of the Ring episode. That means I fucked up. How about the Queen of the Black Garden, Sherry Roy?
Oh God.
I'll send you the tweet.
Oh God. No.
Or how about Mercer Sage? Mercer Sage, the disgraced promoter for the promotion in North Dakota.
Why?
I think we've had especially this season, we've had enough sex pests. We don't need any more.
Registered sex offender running a wrestling company full of teenage kids.
Oh God damn it.
Yeah.
No,
that's something that happened.
No.
On and on, ladies and gentlemen. You can go on and on and on.
Let's get that Shane coming out of here. He upsets me with his weird face.
Shane is Cheryl's bitch, by the way.
Yes.
I believe it.
She owns Shane.
How much does he pay you for that?
We had a show where Cheryl was We had a show where it was Shane versus Cheryl, and Shane lost horribly.
On here?
Yeah, he lost horribly.
Well, yeah,
She
he
totally
can barely form a
embarrassed him.
sentence. How?
No comment.
What happened?
Be a star, man.
He lost?
Be a star.
He lost. Were you being a bully to him?
No, he was being a bully to her. Actually, he was trying to be a bully.
Me,
and,
bully? Come on now.
No, he was trying to be bullied to you.
I'll smack him around next time I see him for it.
Oh, I can smack somebody around if I have to.
An episode on the Four Horsemen. Honestly, I'd be. Okay
I think it'd be
with that.
gross.
Wow.
I think it'd be
That would be
gross.
so wrong.
So, an episode on the Four Horsemen. So you don't necessarily have to focus on Ric Flair per se. I mean, yeah, obviously he's an integral part of that, but you have J.J. Dillon that you could talk to, who honestly,
I think he'd be like everybody's mom.
yeah.
and like
Barry Windham comes in there.
I don't want to hear Arn Anderson talking about sex stories because that's like listening to your dad talk about his former
That one
conquest,
time
and
we
it's just
were in Texas, AA.
no.
Yeah, but that'd be
Oh,
kind of funny
gross
if
me
Arn
out.
Anderson was talking about sex stories and his son was there going, God.
Well, like
That was mom, Dad. What are you talking about? Brock.
Arn Anderson
Yeah,
is like
that
is
basically
cool.
everybody's dad, though. That's the vibe he gives off.
He really is.
Yeah.
Fuck.
You
And
know
then
who would be a good
I mean,
episode though? Now that I think about it,
hmm.
Dino Bravo.
They already did
They
an
did that.
episode on him. Yeah.
No. I mean, like they didn't get too in depth on like the whole like crime life of Dino Bravo.
Well, they didn't get too in depth on a lot of things, but like they happened. They didn't get in depth on the North Korea episode, which I was upset about. But
Yeah.
It's
That
there, they're not
episode
gonna redo
honestly really disappointed me. That the
Eric
North
Bischoff,
Korea
Sonny
episode.
Ono.
it was the whole thing where like I'm watching the episode, I'm like, I know more than these people do.
Right?
They can hit me up. I'll give you some information.
Didn't they do something about Vince McMahon and how he exploits the women?
Never. Well, that might happen, but like an in-depth episode on like Vince McMahon probably not going to happen just because he's so
Big.
closed off, and like
Yeah.
And his lawyer will get
he
there.
can't like we kind of talked shit about it earlier, but he can throw enough money at something that like it'll disappear.
Yeah, so like I think the steroid trial episode is probably going to be the closest thing we'll get to an episode on Vince at this point, unfortunately. With all the stories about Vince, Lord knows there's a lot you can cover. Lord knows we've talked about some of the sick shit that he's been involved with on this show. Leaves anybody?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Good God. Might have lost Zach there.
Well, with that being said,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us here on another wild installment of the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast. Marie, thank you for
Yes.
joining us. Tell the fans where they can find you on your wonderful social medias.
All right, so I am Marie Shadows. I am the host and the creator of the Square Circle podcast, and also the host and the creator of the Ring Crew vlog. For any audio podcast, head over to anchor.fm/Square Circle podcast. For any video cast, along with my commentary that I practice, head over to youtube.com/Square Circle podcast. I am on Twitter 24/7 at Marie_Shadows. And if you want to take it a step further, I do have a Patreon, patreon.com/Marie Shadows, because together we're making wrestling memories.
I like
Awesome.
that, making wrestling memories.
I like it.
What about you, Cheryl? Cheryl,
I'm just on Facebook.
there she is, ladies and gentlemen. She is just on Facebook.
Yep.
Your boy
She
Tony
lives a
Burns
private
right here.
life.
Tony, tell the fans where they can watch us on TV every week, Tony. Every week. Where can they watch us on TV, man?
My pleasure. Every Monday well, actually every Wednesday night starting on October. What was that first date we were going to have the new schedule? October 6th. New schedule is going to be starting. So every Wednesday night, right after you get done with this live show, you can go back and you can watch the previous week's show starting at 9:30 p.m., Channel 11 on Xfinity and on CenturyLink. And then you can catch the replay on Monday night at 10 p.m. on Channel 22 Xfinity, Channel 8002 on CenturyLink. And then you can catch the third show every Tuesday night, 9:30 p.m. on Channel 23 Xfinity and Channel 8003 on CenturyLink.
Man, there's a lot. And if you want to support the channel, ladies and gentlemen, check it out. You can go to support the channel, support the podcast, https://anchor.fm/roundtable podcast /support, because guess what? We like money. Also, you can find us on Twitter at the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to thank you for joining us here on another exciting edition of the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, for all your pro wrestling needs, bodyslam.net. For all your wrestling news, breaking news, join Cassidy Haynes and the rest of the guys here at bodyslam.net to learn more about pro wrestling's secrets. And you can also come back here every week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whatever, and check out the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast. Your boy there, the chosen one, Zach Winter. Zach, tell them where they can find you at one more time, buddy.
Sorry, my internet crashed. It's one of the perks of living in the boonies. But you could find me on spots that don't crash on me at the Dark Asylum Podcast every Friday, Spotify, everywhere you get your podcasts. You could find me, Darkness, Big Vicious. It's more of an entertainment news site with like little pro wrestling bits and pieces. We talk about Dark Side of the Ring. I'll have a lot more thoughts because somebody told me I had to be PG tonight. You could find my pro wrestling t-shirt, pro wrestling tees / wonderful Zach Winters. Buy my shirt. Like Bad Blood said, I like money.
Money.
Yes.
Give me more money.
Speaking of buying shirts, you can go to prowrestlingtees.com /rated2G to get your boy's shirt. Get your shirts. Now, if you want to get a cool hat like I'm wearing right now, a cool travel jacket like I'm wearing right now, real simple, ladies and gentlemen. You can hit up www.503originals.com. That is www.503originals.com. Hats, cool shirts, hats, beanies, t-shirts, all that cool shit. If you drink beer, you want one of those koozies, they got those too. You want stickers, you want folders, you want all kind of shit, go to www.503originals.com. Buy the shirts. And with that being said, thank you very much for joining us here on the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast. We like you, you like us, and hopefully you will be back for more. Have a good night, ladies and gentlemen.
See y'all next week.
Good night.